going on, guys? We are back again with another podcast. It's the Royal Blue podcast. This is episode 15 with the legendary Steve Trainer. How you doing, Steve?
All right. Cheers, Jamie. How's you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you, mate. What did you make of that, Steve? The game against Wallaby Replay?
I didn't see it, but I've read a lot about it, and I've heard Moggy's comments, and it sounds like it was pretty good. I heard that the atmosphere was really good, although there's only 7,000 people there. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, when I went, mate, it looked pretty dead, like, to be honest. But it is a mid-game week, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, we enjoyed it, and to be fair, it was really good. Like, considering it was half empty, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and the little enjoyed it as well. It was good.
Yeah, it sounds good, and we won, so that's the main thing,
So he's 2 games in, and he's already got a better record than Rooney.
I think, best thing is like to forget him, in all honesty, now, and just move forward, I mean, comparing him to Wayne Rooney doesn't help anybody, I don't think. It's good to move forward. I think he's done the right thing in the first 2 games. He's seen virtually everyone. I think it was interesting that he played Chris Bielik at centre-half because he's played there before for Derby, and so has Buchanan. I think actually they paired together as centre halves at Derby, and Chris Bielik is a good centre half. I know people are saying like he messed up for the first goal. He sort of did and he didn't. He gave the ball away. Yeah. He lost the ball, but then the move continued. It wasn't like an instant goal. Yeah, I think the ball was crossed and then the player wasn't picked up in the middle. So, and he's got to get used to playing that position. But Bielik is really good at bringing the ball out from centre half. And he's a big lad and he's strong. And a lot of people have said he's sort of gone off his game a little bit in the last 6 months or so. Probably has, a little bit. So I think it'd be a good idea. And I think Moggy's got this idea of playing him at centre half because we haven't got a lot of centre halves at the moment. And luckily, we've got defenders that can play all across the back four. So Drama and Buchanan can both play right or left back. And then that leaves us with Sanderson, Long, Bielik, and possibly Roberts that can all play centre half. So it gives us a little bit more scope to go when we've got injured defenders. Because, of course, we've still got Ethan Laird, who's not available at the moment. Yeah, I don't know about injury prone. He spent quite a bit of time on the out through injury at QPR, but I think he also had a bit of a fallout with Beale when he was there, and I think he was kept on the bench. And I don't think the atmosphere was good at QPR when he was there. I mean, it'd be great to get him back because he's a really, really good player, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, the starting 11 that he picked, because I know he's trying to get a feel for the players, isn't he, to pick his perfect starting 11. And I mean, to be honest, he played a lot of players that don't usually play that often, all in one hit. And I tell you what, they played really well in the first 15 minutes. They played really well, Steve, like watching them in the flesh, and then he kind of died off a little bit. And then when he made those substitutions, mate, about 60 minutes in, there was a massive impact on the game, But I mean, he's trying, isn't he? He's trying to experiment on and to see what players can do what and stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it was, to be honest, when I've seen the team sheet, it took me about 10 minutes to work out who was playing where, because I couldn't see any centre halves. And then I thought, well, Bielik can play centre half. I knew Buchanan could. So they're the only 2 that it could be, really. So then that's the back four sorted, And I think it was likened to when we played Ipswich. And remember, we played Ipswich and they brought on 5 subs all at once. Yeah. And it completely changed the game in their favour, and they come back and they got that late equaliser. I think that's sort of what we did to Hull. We brought on 5 impact players. I think it was 5. And they made a big, Stansfield scoring. And it was nice to see Marshy doing well because he didn't play very well on Saturday. He disappointed me in the Swansea game. So it's nice to see that he came back and he looked like he was really up for it,
No, it was good, mate. Oliver Burke, I didn't think had a good game. A couple of crosses he played in was good, but there was a couple of times where he'd like cross the ball, he'd do all the hard work, and then like, there was no one in the box and stuff. Rommel Donovan, mate, I thought he was superb the whole time he was on the pitch, mate. He just kept running and giving, and he was superb. He was. I was really impressed with him.
If you look at Oliver Burke, I think his time has come, to be honest. I mean, I've been behind him, you know, like I always am, as much as I can, and support the players. I mean, he's a big lad, he's fast, but there's not a lot of end product with him. This is a problem with him. I've said before in his defence, whenever he plays, he's going to take defenders away because he's so big. Yeah. And it also means when you play him, teams can't defend too high against you, because if that ball goes over the top and Ollie Burke's there, he's fucking burning people. There's no doubt about that. He's quick, ultra quick for a big lad, you know. So it's got that's the advantages, but you can't pick a player just because of those two things, you know what I mean? He's a big lad. He's a big lad, and we haven't got many big forwards. But in all honesty, he hasn't delivered a lot. And I think, you know, if we could, in any way, sort of get him back to, I think he come from Hertha Berlin, or I think that's where he came from. If we could get him back there and free up a loan space, I think that would be a really good move for us. I would imagine there's some kind of negotiation probably going on, you know. I would hope so.
What's your thoughts on Donovan starting, Steve? Because, I mean, like I was just saying, you know, mate, I was really impressed with him. He was all over the pitch, mate. He was just giving it his all. When he lost the ball, he was trying to get it back, you know, mate. He was giving it like 110%. I was really impressed with him. Yeah,
I think, well, he's had his chance, you know, and it was good to give him that opportunity and make him a part of the first team squad, which obviously he already is. He's a young lad. And I think what happens at that age is they are a little bit out of control. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's 110 miles an hour. He needs probably just to calm down a little bit and look around him and be a little bit more aware. That's what I would say. But that's taking nothing away from him. He's a very, very good player. He's like a little bit like Hannibal in a way, you know. He's got that sort of temperament. He's very, very keen. He's a young lad, you know, and he'll get better and better as he gets older, and hopefully that'll happen. He'll get his opportunities, but we've got a lot of players that play in that, you know, play in that area, haven't we? Yeah.
Jordan James, I thought had a good game as well. Keshi Anderson as well. I was impressed with Keshi as well. I thought he was quite good as well.
I've read a few people in the project saying that they weren't very impressed with Anderson. I think at the moment James is one that is drawing a lot of attention from everyone because of this possible move to Atalanta. It seems to be dragging on a little bit, so either it's not going to happen or there's negotiations going on. I've heard somewhere that he's already made a personal contract with, agreed a contract with Atalanta for 750k a year. But then obviously the clubs have to agree a deal, and whether that happens or not, I don't know. To be honest, I think we could survive without it with the players that we've got. But also, if we did buy someone, if we did get some money from Jordan James, well then we could probably spend. You know, if we got money, for instance, $6,000 for Jordan James, you could probably, because of the way you can spread payments, you could probably get two players for 6 million for Jordan James. You could probably get 2 6 million players for that one sale. If we got the money up front, we could then spread the payment till go into the summer, and we'd have to pay 2 lots of wages, because don't forget, wages play a big part in this. People look at it and think, well, you know, we can buy a £5 million player, but then what is the wage structure like? You know, so that's important. But by getting one hit of Gordon James for 6 million, we could buy 2 or 3 £6 million players, providing that 6 million wasn't paid out until the summer.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. You're just really knowledgeable, Stephen. You know your stuff, mate. Do you think it's a good?
It's a way they could do it if they wanted to. It's a way of getting in some real impact players early. But you know, we got to wait and see. And I know everyone doesn't want Jordan James to go. He's a very good player. He's got a good future. This is where you have to weigh things up now and think, you know, what do we want to do? Do we want? I mean, you never know. I'm the eternal optimist, you know, and I just think we could sneak in the back door of the playoffs. I still think that, and I know everyone's going to think I'm a bit stupid for saying that, you know, but it's just how I think that is. I can't help it. Yeah,
I'm the same, mate. Now we got Mowbray, mate. You know, I mean, I've seen them play now, and it's a different team. I mean, the only thing that's changed, I mean, even that starting 11 against Hull, mate, you know, that weren't even like the strongest team he put out, and they played really well. And the only thing that's changed is the manager.
Yeah, I think that I do think you know, like, Hull played a second string team, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they brought some players on at the end to try and make an impact, you know. So I don't think you can make much of a measure. You know, it wasn't like a full strength Hull, but it doesn't matter. You know, a game's a game, and we've won it, and we've now got a game. Ironically, both the ladies and the men's team. The ladies play their 5th round game in the ladies FA Cup away to Leicester, and we play the 4th round away to Leicester. So it's a bit weird, you know, that we both have the same team. And I think both the ladies, you know, ladies are going to have a big challenge on the hands there, and I think the men will as well. But I wouldn't count us out. I definitely wouldn't count us out. I don't think Leicester are going to go. A lot of people are saying, oh, you know, they've already got promotion, so they're going to try and have a good run in the FA Cup. I don't think that. I think Leicester will be concentrating 100% in getting out of this championship, and I think they'll play a second string 11 against us. And that gives us a great chance to get into the 5th round. And once we're there, we're just going to go on and win the cup, aren't we? You know, it's obvious.
Go on, you blue boys. We've done it before, mate, in the Carling Cup.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Do you think that it would be better for the club if Jordan James did go, or do you think it would be a bad move? Because Mowbray did make an interesting point, saying that he wanted to keep the best players in order for Blues to kind of progress. What do you think on that?
I think Tony Mowbray was making that point so that he could stay on side with everyone. Because what he did say was, if someone comes knocking the door and it gives us the opportunity of 2 or 3 new players from the money coming in, then that would be good. And why wouldn't you do it? But he also said, we want to keep all of our young players. He's playing it safe, you know. I mean, he doesn't want to upset the fans by saying, listen, let's get rid of Jordan James and we can get 3 new players. You know, and he probably hasn't made that decision himself, and it's probably not a decision he can make. The club will make the decision. If they think they're going to get good value for money for Jordan James, and they can buy, like I just said, you could buy 2 or 3 really good quality players for that money, and we could have them now. It's all right saying Jordan James is one for the future, and he would be if we keep him. But the future for him, 2, 3 years, and in the meantime, he might go anyway, or he might even want to go to Atalanta now. We don't know how the lad feels about it. And if he wants to go, although he's under contract, I think until 2025, and we've got a year option on it, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
If he wants to go, don't keep him. That's how I look at it. You know, why would, it's like Tony Mowbray said, why would you keep him if the lad wants to leave? And it's right. You know, and I personally, if I was pushed on it, I would say if we can get 7 million for him, I would say have it.
Yeah,
that's
really.
just me. That's just a personal view. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people were saying that he's worth more than 5 million, and yeah, I mean, 7 or 8 million is good in it. Like, I mean, if he gets some money for him, but I mean, it all depends, like you said, if he does want to go, because it's all rumours again, isn't it? We don't know, like, if he does want to go, if he wants to stay, or it's a lot of the media hype, isn't it?
It's easy for players to get tempted, you know, and it's, you know, he's 19, he's going to Italy, Atalanta, they're a big club. And you know, you've seen a few tweets like from Sanderson, and they're having a laugh about someone, and Sanders said, well, you know, if you stay, blah blah blah. You know, there's obviously, and we all hear the rumours, they hear them as well, they live in the same world as us, you know. So he's aware of it, and I'm pretty sure if he had no intention of going anywhere, he would have come out and said it, and the club would have said it. You know, the club would have said, listen, just to stop any rumours, Jordan James isn't going anywhere. He's happy to stay. We've given him another year on his contract. Bang, done. You know, but that hasn't been said. So for me, the door's still open.
Yeah. So you reckon then the Blues could potentially hit the playoffs then, Steve?
I don't put my head on the block like that. Of course I do. You know, I think we're going to go up until it's mathematically impossible. It's highly unlikely. When you look at the points required to hit the top 6, I think it's like you need 70-odd points, you know, and I don't think it's going to happen, but you just never know. We've left it a bit late, really. I think if Mowbray had come in perhaps a month earlier and we got a bit of momentum going, you know, it might have. But I'm never, you know, I won't rule nothing out. Not me personally, but most people that have got any sense would say we're not going up this season, you know. And obviously the main thing for us at the moment is that we stay in the division. I'm pretty confident we're going to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
But we got 4 away games now, you know. I know one of them's Leicester, so one's a cup game, but we now got 3 away games, so it's a tough ask. But it was interesting hearing Mowbray talk about the home and away games. And he said it makes no difference to him if they're away games. He said, you go out, you play on some grass, you take your players, you want to win. And it's refreshing to hear that, you know.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Mate, I love it, I do. I mean, when we was at the game against Hull a few days back, we was singing Mowbray's Blue Army and that, and give us a wave, and he actually waved to us. He waved to the fans. Couldn't believe it. I was like, come on, Mowbray.
Yeah.
I love it, mate.
You know, it's nice to have a bit of interaction with fans and managers. I think that's always a good thing. Yeah. And, you know, most managers do that. I mean, listen, you've never seen Barry Fry, mate, right? Until you've seen Barry Fry, you don't know anything about managers and interacting with fans. That bloke was just the best. And I think he was at the game on Tuesday, I believe.
Was he?
Do you know who Barry Fry is?
Yeah. Used to be the Blues manager, didn't he?
Well, until you've seen him, mate, you don't know anything about interacting with fans. But joking apart, yeah, it's great that he interacts. He seems like a really nice bloke, you know, and he's sensible. We all love him, and it's much better than what we've had, in my opinion. He's the best manager we've had for
a very long time.
Like, perhaps since Francis even. And we all love Trevor Francis because he's Trevor, you know. Chris Hughton, you know. But Mowbray's a different kettle of fish altogether. He comes across well, presents himself well, knows his football, plays an attractive brand of football, speaks well of the players, not scared to criticise himself and the team as a whole. And I think he's great. He's a breath of fresh air for us.
He is, mate, and he likes to make a lot of changes as well, doesn't he? Like, I think he analyses the game really well as well, doesn't he? Like, he knows where there's certain positions that are lacking substitutions to bring on players. He's done it twice now. We've come from behind twice because he's made these substitutions. You know, I mean, we drew the first one, the first game he played, and then we've gone on to beat Hull, haven't we? So, I mean, he's really good with his substitutions and how he analyses the game. I think he's got a good team around him, hasn't he?
He has got a good team. Well, you know, I mean, we know that Mark Venus is good. You know, we don't know about Ashley Cole, to be honest, but the guy chose to stay, so that's great. You know, there's a lot of fans saying, you know, when with Ashley Cole and John O'Shea, get rid of them. You know, get rid of it. You can't just get rid of them. They've got contracts. So if we were to say to both of those two guys, go, we have to pay them for the remaining length of their contract, just like we would have to do with Wayne Rooney. Exactly the same. You can forget all this bullshit about Wayne Rooney saying, I don't want anything. That's just bollocks. That's not true. That thing is a rumour. Wayne Rooney will have to be paid. And if we were to say to O'Shea and Cole, goodbye, then we kiss the money that left on their contract goodbye. When John O'Shea went, he went of his own accord. We don't have to pay him anything. We're paying Ashley Cole. Let's see what he's like. To me, he looks quite animated on the touchline now. He didn't when Wayne Rooney was there. So let's give him a chance. The guy's a world-class fullback, you know. Get off his back, give him a go.
Yeah, that's it, mate. And what was your views on Sanderson not playing? Steve, do you think it was good for him to have a bit of a break?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think he's been needing a break for a while. It was interesting that Gary Gardner was captain as well, you know. I don't know if he looks at Gary Gardner and sees a possibility for him there. There's a few things that were a little bit odd the other day. I heard that Duke had got a calf strain. I think AU just found him ill. And there was another one that was missing through injury. Can't remember who the other one was. But it was a bit odd because I think AU may be going back. And I don't know. I think it's possible. And I don't know if this is probably just me and the way I think sometimes, is that, you know, there could be some sort of deal for Duke to go somewhere until the end of the season. I don't know, you know. It's just me surmising and looking at the possibilities. So when players don't play like that or they're not included in a fairly big squad, usually it's like, Etheridge is the other one. Apparently Etheridge had a knock as well. Well, Etheridge, Etheridge and Duke. Sorry, mate.
That's what I was going to ask you, because on the starting 11 and the substitutes, I was just going to ask you then to see if that third person was Etheridge or not, because he wasn't on there. There was another goalkeeper called Bradley Mayo. Yeah, well, Mayo's the under-21 keeper, but so Etheridge wasn't playing, so his contract runs out in the summer. Duke wasn't playing; his contract runs out in the summer. Avu wasn't playing; he's on loan. Hogan wasn't in the squad either, was he? Just looking at it now. Yeah, he was on the bench. Yeah,
he was on the bench. All right, I couldn't remember. So I just look at it when it's like that. I look at the squad and I think there's 3 players missing. We're halfway through January. All of them could possibly not be with us at the end of January. So having a bit of a suspicious mind, I always think, you know, it could be that they're on the way. I may be 100% wrong. It's just how my mind works sometimes.
Going back to the league as well, Stephen, played against Swansea. What was your views on that, being his first game? I
thought it was good. I think he played. It was a nice attacking game. We played quite well. A bit of a 4-4-2, which was nice. I think people were saying at Stansfield that you know, shouldn't be played on the right wing. He wasn't played on the right wing. He was played down the middle with Hogan. You know what happens with Stansfield sometimes, and I'm glad he scored the other night. I think he needed it. He didn't have a particularly good game against Swansea, and I don't think Mayashi did either. I think they both struggled. But I think what happens with Stansfield, if he doesn't play as an out-and-out striker on his own, he drifts wide to the right. He always does it. And it clutters the right flank up then. Because if you've got like your right fullback coming wide, you've got Mayashi there, and suddenly you've got Stansfield there as well. There's a lot of bodies in a small place, and there's a gap in the middle. You know, I think Hogan played really well against Swansea. He put the press on them really, really well. And for me, you know, I think he was like one of the better players. I think Dembele was probably man of the match. He had a great game. I'm not knocking Stansfield, by the way, but, you know, he's still only a young player. And he does tend to drift to the right. It was a good performance. I think we played well. Bit of a defence at times, didn't look brilliant, you know. So there's a few questions still around the back four. But all in all, I think it was a good performance. I think it would have been like, had we been 2-1 up and conceded in the 5th minute of injury time and Swansea equalised or something like that, we would have gone away broken-hearted. But I think us getting that late goal changed, you know, it was us that got the goal. It was like winning, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I had to leave early. I did go, but I had to leave about like 15 minutes from the end because I had to go to work. But I mean, from what I've seen, I was really impressed. What did you think of Dembele's one-on-one?
Oh, fuck. well,
I know.
You know, it was a great ball from Sonic, actually. And people always say that, you know, that Ivan Sonic can't play a ball, you know, but he put a great ball through to Dembele. And if you had to choose someone in the whole team to have a one-on-one, it would be Dembele.
Yeah.
I just think he didn't quite have enough time to decide what he wanted to do. I think had he got another yard, that would have been in the back of the net. The keeper did well. He came out fast. And he was like on Dembele quickly. And Dembele just tried to lift it over him. Keeper was coming out. It just didn't happen. It was heartbreaking, wasn't it, really? Because that goes in and the game's different altogether, isn't it?
How good did Hogan play as well, Steve? I was really impressed with Hogan. He had that bicycle kick. I hope he scored it, mate. I was rooting for him. I was.
Yeah,
He's had a bit of stick, hasn't he?
I think you can't just you can't just judge strikers by goals. You can't. Some forwards score lots of goals. Some play in different ways. You know, he's a good strike Hogan off the shoulder if he's played right. But I think he's getting on a bit, and his future probably isn't at Blues. But I think what Mowbray got him doing on Saturday was he got him playing that press from the front, because the way we played on Saturday was sort of a mixture between, well, we've seen the old Eustace team play sort of like that with the press at the front. So Hogan, Stansfield, Dembele, when he could, were all pressing high up the pitch. And we've seen Swansea time and time again make mistakes, didn't we?
Yeah.
They got away with it a few times. Hogan did it early on. Keeper lost the ball, you know. And strangely enough, our first goal this season away at Swansea, when we drew one each, was Hogan pressing the goalkeeper and the ball coming out and Dembele scoring. That was in our first game of the season when we drew 1-1 away. So it was a very similar thing with Hogan pressing, you know. But Hogan pressed them. I think the team played well. Dembele, I think, I think Moggy said this about him, that he doesn't work hard enough coming back. So he has to have more to his game, Dembele does. And I think it's been his problem wherever he's been. It was like that at Peterborough, it was like that at Bournemouth. That's why Bournemouth didn't keep him. It's because he's one of those players. He's like the cherry on the cake, you know. He's great. And if you give him the ball, he's got some amazing skills and that. But he's a bit lazy. He doesn't want to do the defensive work. But if he wants to make himself a really good player, he has to come back. He has to chase back. He has to do what everyone else does. Just because he's extremely skillful doesn't relieve him of any defensive duties. And if he wants to be a really top-class player, then he has to get his shit together and do some defensive work. And I don't think he's going to stay in that team long if he doesn't.
Yeah. You reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think Tony Mowbray demands a certain work ethic from the players. It's no good having Dembele doing what he does. Like say for instance, scoring the other day. He played really well. His goal was absolutely fantastic. But, and I'm not saying this was the case, but let's just say, for instance, had he chased back, he could have stopped a goal at the other end.
Yeah. Because
it's just as much his job to cover other players as it is to go forward and make himself look fantastic. When I say make himself look fantastic, I mean he knows what a great footballer he is, and he takes players on, and he knows he's got amazing skill. But because he knows that, it doesn't relieve him of his duties at the other end of the pitch, and that goes for everyone.
No, spot on, Steve. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Sunjic does that, though, just need to be fair to him. I mean, he's not the most skillful player, but like he does get stuck in, doesn't he? And I was impressed with him as well. He was everywhere again, 110% getting stuck in, and created some good chances as well, didn't he?
He's one of those players, Sunjic, that a lot of people seem to dog him a bit because he isn't a ball player. But I think a lot of fans don't understand what his job is. His job, he's a ratter, He goes out, he breaks play up, he gets in players' faces. That's why he's always gets so many cards now, because that's what his job is. We took him off against Swansea because he'd got a yellow and it looked like he was going to get another one, But he's in there, he breaks the play up. And the ball for Dembele for the one-on-one was great. It was a great ball, but people forget those little things that he does. But you take Sonic out to the side and you lose a lot of that doggedness in the middle of the pitch. We have got some players that can play there. You know, you could have Jordan James, Bakuna, Gardner. They can all play in that role, but they won't do it the way Sonic does it. Sonic has got a great engine, and he doesn't try to do anything clever. He just breaks up the play, and he's good at it.
He's really good, mate. And against Hull as well, I was impressed with him. He was when he come on, you know, he was everywhere, doing what he does best, you know, getting stuck in again. And he made an impact. You know, he was really good.
He's an impact player, you know, if you bring him on like that. But he's great to have on from the start. I mean, for me, at the moment, the way we play, you know, we can't afford to have all luxury players in the middle of the park. And Sonic is great to have in between the forwards and the defenders to break down players, to break down opponents' moves if they come to the middle of the park. Sonic is always there. He's often dragged out of position as well by the fullbacks. And he gets blamed for that sometimes, for leaving Bielik on his own. But what happens if the fullbacks are out of position? Sonic will often come wide and fill in for the fullbacks, you know. And I mean, what I was just talking about Dembele doing, that's what he should be doing, you know. But Sonic is often pulled out of position because he has got that engine and he understands that he has to cover people, and he does a great job of it. He's underestimated, in my opinion, mate. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Thoughts on Stoke away then, Steve? What do you reckon? How confident are you feeling?
I think we're definitely going to stay up, you know, for sure. We've got a good manager, we've got some good footballers, and I think he's going to bring the best out in them. We've got some great young players coming through. We've already spoken about Donovan. You know, we've got a few lads in the under 21s. A lot of people speak about Dixon. Apparently, the thing that holds him back a little bit is his attitude. You know, the way he is. I don't know. You know, we've got a few. God, I'm just going to do my editing this because I know the lad's dad. But the centre half that scored again on the other day, I forget his name. Well, fullback, and they scored another header. Fogarty. Yeah, Mark Fogarty scored again in the week. I think he scored 4 goals now this season. He's plays centre half, can play full back. I think he's one for the future. He's going to be a lovely player. We've got Home, who's the lad who's the captain of the side. He's good. We've got young Mayo coming to the goalkeeper. We've got a lot of good young lads coming through. They're going to take a little bit of nurturing. But I think when you got a manager like Tony Mowbray, it's one of his specialties is bringing on the youngsters. I think that's going to be absolutely great, you know.
What's your predictions for Stoke then, Steve? Before we,
they're not a bad side, and they've got Schumacher in charge now. He's been there for 5 games, and they're unbeaten. He did a great job at Plymouth, and but I think they struggle scoring. I don't think they've scored for the last couple of games. So for me, I think we could nick this.
Come on, Steve.
I think we could nick it. I do. You know, I think a draw would be acceptable. They're not a bad side, but I think we could nick this game. You know, by the odd goal.
Yeah. So what do you reckon then? 1-0 or 2-1?
I don't really like predicting scores because it's a bit mad, isn't it? I don't know. Let's say we're going to win 2-1 then, because I'd like us not to concede, but I think we might do. But then again, Stoke don't score a lot of goals, so perhaps I'm going to go 1-0 or 2-0 Blues.
Nice, Steve. I like it. I like the positivity, mate. So, just for the people that are watching this that don't know how to find your Facebook page, I have put it in the scroll bar at the bottom, but if you want to give them some information on how to find your stuff on that, Steve, that'll be good.
Yeah, so on Facebook, we have our Facebook group, which has got like 9,000 members, and we got with visitors, we got like 15,000 people. Incredibly, we've had almost 250,000 people visit since November. So you know, They're big numbers, you know, and we try and be the more mature Facebook site. We tend to have an older generation person coming to view our pages. We don't use outside content. We use our own content. We try and keep things sensible, and we have a community as well. So we try to do more than just support the Blues. We do other things, like we try and help the disabled community within the club. We do things like we do with the Blues in Christmas for the kids and that. And we've got a few things that we're doing ourselves this year. We're going to concentrate on mental health, and we've got some exciting stuff coming up regarding that. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, just for people that if they want to watch a podcast, any of our podcasts, we're on Bcfc, the project, Steve and Beck. We've got a good one coming up shortly. I'm not 100% sure when it is, but I'm just trying to get the date together. It's definitely going to happen. It's with Mark Halsey. He was a former Premier League referee, and he was the ref that sent off Dean Dublin when we played Villa at Villa Park. And Bobby Savage got nutted, and Mark will tell you all about that. You know, he's a good lad, Mark, and he's going to come on and have a little chat with us, and that'll be great because he's ref quite a few, and he also knows Wayne Rooney quite well. So it'd be good to get his opinion on Rooney, and he's a QPR fan, so we can take the piss out of him at the same time.
Class, Steve, mate. You're doing amazing, mate. I can't believe you've had so many followers, 250,000 viewers. And I'm looking forward to that, mate, that podcast. Just drop me a message when it's on so I can watch it. Well, I am subscribed to your channel anyway, but... Of course,
it will be good. And he's a nice bloke. I've actually known Mark for quite a long time. And he's a good guy. And he's just a football supporter at the end of the day as well. You know, I was talking to him the other day, actually, and he was just absolutely gutted at what's happened to QPR recently, you know, because they got rid of Gareth Ainsworth, and I think everyone thought they were going to go on an upward trajectory. They did for a few games, and now it's all gone wrong again, you know. And I feel sorry for him, like, because it's a bit like Blues, you know. You just think something's going to happen, and it's like, oh fuck, you know, it all goes pear-shaped. But hopefully those days are over for us now.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed.
Definitely, yeah.
Steve, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate, and thank you so much for making time for me again, mate. You know, I love doing this with you, like.
Yeah, of course, and you can share it onto our page, mate. You know, it's okay. I haven't done that many podcasts over the last week or two because I don't like to sort of pile them up too much. Obviously, I do a few write-ups on in the group as well. So pop it on, and it'll save me doing one.
Cheers, Steve. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much, mate.
All right, Dan. Yeah, regards to your dad as well, mate, and your family, and nice to speak to you again. Yeah,
definitely, mate, and I look forward to speaking to you again, Steve. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
No problem. Cheers, Jamie. See you later, mate.
Keep right on.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
See you later.